Hello, everyone. Hopefully everything sounds good. Just a quick thing before we get started. Could we get a little audio check? Is everybody able to hear everything clearly? Is the video clear? Just want to get a check on that before we get it started with anything. If you could comment in the comments if everything's clear and the way I want it to be for everyone to have the best quality live stream as possible. Okay, good. Thank you, Vault Plays, for verifying that. I very much appreciate that. So the thing that I was hoping to do with this live stream is, I have had several videos end up being pretty much, I guess I could say, a success. A lot of people have been really been happy with the quality of the content, the kind of content that was released. Also, there's been some that I know there's one complaint that's been going around in regards to volume normalization, which is something I'm still trying to figure out. Actually, for my videos, what I use is a program called CapCut, which I'm thinking of switching to another program because this isn't the best. There's a new program coming out involved. I'm pretty sure it's actually made by the creators of YouTube, and I'm going to be using that in the future. Hopefully, once it's released on iOS, because that is the main platform I use for my video editing. I don't have my own video editor or anything. I do everything myself. Um, Deshampreet, I'm sorry, I'm not really sure how to pronounce the name correctly. Any update on when the mosaic mode is coming on Seestar? Not yet. I have been in contact with them. They've been saying, okay, yeah, they're working on it. But it's not actually being fully developed. I noticed that because the solar eclipse was coming through, a lot of the focus in regards to their app development was going towards their solar mode and the lunar mode, instead of really into the astronomy mode. Um, and as a result of that, we haven't really gotten much improvement in regards to the go-to functions for stargazing or mosaic mode, which is something that a lot of people are looking forward to doing due to the smaller field of view that we actually have on the Seestar. And I will be showing you guys, those who doesn't have a Seestar. I do have my Seestar S50 connected. It is currently shooting the Flaming Star Nebula, and I do plan on giving you guys basically a walkthrough of the app and letting you guys see the different features. You can leave in the comments, of course, the things that you would like to see in the app, things, improvements perhaps that you would want to see. I can get in contact with the developers and let them know your requests as well. Um, but first things first, there is one thing that I wanted to ask everyone in regards to content that was made previously on the channel, those who have watched it. Something I would appreciate knowing is what was the kind of content, and again, if you could just leave this in the comments. What kind of content is it that really kind of drew your attention, things that perhaps helped you the most, things that you would want to see a little bit more of in the future? Because that's the kind of content I would like to make for you guys, of course, in the future, to basically help you in your journey in regards to Seestar, in regards to Dwarf 2, because those are both incredible smart telescopes, things that we really enjoy using. It's super easy to set up, super easy to use. So, any ideas for future content? If you do have it, please let me know in the comments. I'm definitely eager to see that. Whoever has any ideas. Also, any suggestions in regards to past content that were perhaps influence future content to being better. If you could also leave that in the comments as well. But in the meantime, while you guys talk about that, I would like to give you a little bit of a walkthrough in regards to the Seestar app, which I actually have right here. So here's the Seestar app. Hopefully you can see it. If you could just let me know in the comments again if you do see it properly, because I do want to make sure you guys have a good view of that. So if you could go ahead and just let me know real quick in the comments if you can see the Seestar app. All right, thank you. Just wanted to verify on that. So the stargazing thing is extremely easy and simple to use. As you can see, I have my Seestar S50 already connected. I'm not going to go through the leveling process again because I'd have to go outside and it's really, really cold and I don't want to go out there right now. There's a lot of neat features in regards to. I would love to see something on your post processing of Seestar imaging session. I can do that, but that would probably have to be a little bit in the future. I've done a lot of videos on that, and I would like to do more of those because honestly, Seestar is a great telescope, and we all enjoy the images that we're able to get from that because it's very clear and very colorful and very sharp. But there's a lot of different features on here in regards to the Seestar app. We have the Sky Atlas, and as you can see, the Flaming Star Nebula is right here. You can zoom out, and here's another nebula right there. What's great about this is we have the objects that we can actually scroll through, and the feature that I probably like the most is the tonight's best feature. And you scroll down, and it shows you all the different things that we have, the current altitude that it is in the sky, because honestly, the whole altitude, and maybe you have trees or things in the way. This can really help you um, plan along your stargazing session. Have I had any issue regarding using Seestar in extreme cold weather? I had my Seestar outside last night in about 20-degree weather. Hopefully that's what you mean by extreme cold. Here in Georgia, it doesn't really get colder than that. But no, I haven't had any issues with that. Obviously, it's best if you have it connected to an extension cable or some sort of power source that you can keep it warmer. Um, but also the dew heater setting in here, which is also something I do want to show you all. If you go here to your settings, it has an anti-dew heater. So perhaps you bring your Seestar from inside where it's nice and warm to outside. Typically, the lens would get all foggy and wet. But if you because we have the anti-dew heat feature here, we don't generally don't have any kind of problem with that. So that's very good. Also, an advanced feature, something that a lot of people wanted to see is that we were able to save each frame in enhancing because when it first came out, we weren't able to save each frame. We were only able to have the stacked frame by Seestar to save it and process it later on. But now we finally do have the save each frame in enhancing. Also, we can adjust the level now and the compass calibration. All that came out today. So that's great features that I'm yet to try out, but I'm sure they work great. Um, Let's see. Also, in the recommended, it shows you these different things. Obviously, in regards to planetary, can the Seestar S50 take photos when plugged into an energy source? Yes, I have mine actually on the roof right now. Um, Currently charging, as you can see. Let me show you. It says 100% battery because it's charging right now up on the roof and it has an extension cord plugged in to it from an outlet down below. So yes, it can take photos while it is plugged into an energy source. You've experienced issues where the Seestar cannot find an object tonight. It was the moon. Have I experienced anything like this? Yes, I have. Number one, sometimes even Seestar, because it relies more on visual instead of actual location of the moon. I did notice it used to rely more on visual. It would even focus on a street light and think that was the moon and try to track that. But I haven't had any more issues regarding it now. Like even with Jupiter. Um, in regards to moving objects, yeah, it has a little bit more of a hard time. But as you can see, you can just go ahead and go here. There we go. And hit go to, and it will automatically, oh, it appears that I lost connection here. Let's try that one more time. Sorry about that. Just give me 1 second. This wasn't supposed to happen. All right, there we go. Let me close out of this and add that back in. I apologize for this delay. Share screen. Window. Still not showing. Let's see here. I apologize about this issue that I'm having here. Please just give me one moment. All right. There we go. All right. Is it always in portrait mode? No. Well, actually, yes, it is always in portrait mode. That's not really a fixable thing. But once we actually have the mosaic mode update come out, then it should be much better. You wouldn't really have to worry about if it's in portrait mode or not. Let me go here real quick. It says device not level, please adjust. So let me just do a go to Jupiter, and I'll show you guys what I was talking about in regards to the go to. As you can see, it is shooting. It appears to be lagging on the screen. I don't see why it's not showing here. There we go. Let me just put that to the side. Maybe it'll work a little better like this. All right, let me go to stargazing. There we go. And here is Jupiter. As you can see, they have the autofocus. The autofocus works extremely easy, very nice and easy to use. You just press the button, it'll focus in about 10 seconds, I'd say it takes. I will say it's a little bit easier than the Dwarf 2 focus. The Dwarf 2 autofocus isn't exactly 100% perfect in regards to the algorithm yet, but Dwarf Lab is still working on it. They're doing a very good job in regards to their software and the progression of that, and it's coming along very far. And I actually have a few details about the update that's coming out if anybody's interested in hearing that. So once this is done autofocusing, let me show you. Um, Obviously, in regards to Planetary, we have all the moons here, which is really cool. So, oops. All right, cancel that. There's not really much that we can do in regards to Planetary with the Seestar's 50. We can actually go to lunar mode, make sure it doesn't center on that. And this is the closest that we can do in regards to Planetary. You just turn this down all the way. And what you can do is you can just switch it to video mode, record raw, just record some raw data there. Can I give you a quick rundown of what mosaic mode is? Yes, what mosaic mode is, let me just show you an example so that you can understand it a little bit clearer. Let me just close out of here. And I'm going to go to real quick to another deep sky object. So let me just find it. Just give me one moment and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. For example, we have M31, the Andromeda Galaxy. Let me zoom in here and center on that. I mean, just from here by itself, you can see that the Andromeda Galaxy doesn't fully fit within the field of view of the Seestar. Um, the Seestar's 50 takes an image of this one area that's right here in the field of view. What the mosaic mode is it moves from one part of your image to another part of the sky, to another part of the sky, to another one, and it takes all those images and combines them into one bigger image, basically turns it into a puzzle piece and fits it all together so that this small image that you have at the beginning becomes this one bigger, highly detailed image. That's what that mosaic mode is, and that's why it's very important for Seestar to have. And thankfully, we know that ZWO has, in fact, announced that these mosaic mode is going to happen. They are working on it. There's no release date on it. I can't tell you when it's going to come out, but ZWO has stated that it is coming. So that is something that we can definitely look forward to. And here's just an example of the Andromeda Galaxy as it's shooting for those who want to see it. Now, does anybody have any questions so far in regards to Seestar that they would like answered? Perhaps that they haven't gotten answers to before that I could help give you answers to, because I do have a lot of information in regards to. Oh, that's another thing. Sometimes it doesn't reject the frames in regards to the Seestar enhancing. When it doesn't reject the frames, you will see an image that looks like this. It's honestly very simple. You don't really have to worry about it that much. Just go ahead and do your go-to one more time. And just go ahead and start your shooting process again, and it'll work fine. Crop to a similar field of view, which one gives clearer or more detailed Dwarf 2, 8 megapixels, or Seestar 2 megapixels. I will say that the Seestar S50 does give more detail than the Dwarf 2. Why? That I'm not really 100% sure due to the fact that, as you said, Dwarf 2 does have an 8 megapixel sensor, as Seestar does have a 2 megapixel sensor. I'm assuming it's due to the field of view. Perhaps, sorry, not the field of view, but the amount of zoom that Seestar has. As we all know, the Seestar has a almost 3-inch lens. Dwarf 2, there we go again with the bad tracking. Perhaps a little bit too high up, and as you saw, my Seestar is not 100% level as I would have liked it to be. So let me just go to another one here. Let's go to the Seven Sisters and start shooting that one. Anyways, as I was saying, about the field of view, yes, I will say Seestar has a better amount of detail than the Dwarf 2, because the Dwarf 2, even if you crop it down, you're gonna see a lot less detail. Of course, that's back when they had binning on. Now they do have a function so you can turn binning off. What binning is, for those who do not know, binning is when it takes these pixels and it combines them together to get rid of the noise that you have in your image. That's what the binning is for. When you turn it to 1x1 binning, then you're going to need a lot more exposures to not have as much noise in your image. But thankfully, if you're like really deep into astrophotography, like I hope you are, because honestly, astrophotography is a great hobby, great time passer, and it's honestly really fun. And it's great to be able to observe the beauty of the universe. If you're willing to take that many exposures, and your image is going to come out absolutely perfect, no matter what. As you can see, we have the Seven Sisters here. Let's start the shooting process on that. Hopefully, we don't have any issues in regards to tracking. Will it stack all the mosaic photos by itself, or do we need to post process different parts of sky and combine them in the final image later? Due to the amount that the ZWO is really trying to make this super easy to use, the Seestar, they're really trying to slip away from the need to post process your image. So I believe that they're not going to make you have to take it into program later on. They should be like the Vaonis Vespera. The Vaonis Vespera automatically stacks them together by itself. It combines all the mosaic images together. You don't really have to do a lot with it. Of course, if you want, you can. But I know that the Vespera is probably going to do pretty much the same thing as the Seestar S50 is planned on doing, which is just combining it together by itself, so you don't really have to do it too much. Maggie M, thank you. I really appreciate the kind words. But again, in regards, I got one answer so far about future content, and that was from Chester Draws. Thank you very much for that. I would love to see something on your post processing of Seestar imaging session. I will be giving you a lot more of that, of course, as much as possible. So please, anybody else who's here and viewing right now, if you have ideas for future content, please let me know in the comments and I will write them down. I have my phone right here. I'm ready to write any advice down, any complaints that you guys have about previous content other than the whole noise normalization. Trust me, I'm really trying to fix that. I've gotten a lot, and I mean a lot of complaints about that, and I'm really trying to work on that. So I apologize for any issues in regards to the sound normalization. Like I said, I'm really working on it, but thank you for bearing with me. Again, if you have any ideas of future content, please let me know in the comments. Now, I will say one exciting thing that I'm very hyped about, I guess I can say, about the Dwarf 2, the feature update is Seestar is 50 right now. It's not able to do planetary imaging, although I'm sure if we were to perhaps take a lunar filter, get an adapter and put it on the front of your Seestar 50, you could get some decent images of things like Jupiter. But what Dwarf 2 is actually finally doing is they're implementing a planetary function into the Dwarf 2 app. And they actually showed an image of it on their YouTube account itself. Hopefully, I can find that for you. Just give me 1 minute to look for that. It's on their live stream, actually. Goes out of this and find that. And I will show it to you right here. Just an image that was actually taken with the Dwarf 2 telescope. Um, and it came out quite impressive. I honestly didn't expect it to be as good as it is, given the fact that the Dwarf 2 doesn't have as great of a field of view regards in comparison to Stars 50. But it actually came out very impressive, and I'm very excited with what Dwarf 2 is coming up with next. So let me find that real quick, and I will show that to you. Here we go. I found it. Okay, let me set this to the best amount of detail as possible. All right. I'm just going to switch the tab over to YouTube right now so you guys can see this as well. Let me see. Okay. Present. I'm going to stop the Seestar 50 screen real quick and show you guys the other one. Share screen. There we go. And here it is. Hopefully you can see that. Right there we have the Jupiter image that they showed on their previous YouTube live stream, and that was something that was honestly extremely exciting for me. I didn't see it coming, and the amount of detail we're able to see on the planet Jupiter was mind blowing for me in regards to the Dwarf 2 telescope. And they also showed, if we check here, they also showed Saturn, which was also exciting to see. Let me just skip forward to there. It's a bit too far, or perhaps it was previous. Check. Bear with me for just one moment. Yes, they also had their image of Saturn right there, which is also extremely impressive for me. due to the fact that Dwarf 2 does have a very wide field of view, and Saturn is not a very big planet in regards to the field of view of either of these telescopes. It's better for just a normal telescope like a 6-inch Dobsonian, which I have, which I'm actually planning on going outside later on tonight and shooting some images of the moon for processing to show you guys on how to do that. Let me close out of this one. See, move, present, stop screen, and add the Seestar imaging back in. Let's go ahead and share that. There we go. Which programs do you usually like? Stacking programs and processing programs. Now, depends on what we're talking about. Vault, please. Are we talking about in regards to planetary, or are we talking about in regards to deep sky astrophotography? That is one question I have for you, and then I can answer the question you just gave me. Let me see your answer here. Let's see. Still waiting for an answer. Hopefully, he's still here with us. I'll just go ahead and answer it like this. So, in regards to programs that I use for the deep sky astrophotography, what I tend to use for that is I prefer to use the Serial program, and I want to get Pixelsight. Pixelsight's able to do a crazy amount of great work, but what I typically use is in fact Serial. I tend to not use Deep Sky Stacker. I've honestly never been a fan of Deep Sky Stacker. I've always had issues with it for some reason, and as a result of that, I never really like to use it. Um, Perhaps there's something I was doing wrong with it. Obviously, I'm not 100% experienced in everything, but I do prefer to use Serial in regards to stacking. Now, the only limit that I have with Serial is Serial is only able to stack about 2086 images at a time, meaning that you would have to stack that 2086 and another 2086 and combine those two together, which is what I did in my image of the planetary, sorry, in the image of the Cone Nebula and the trying to remember what it was. The Heart Nebula, which I actually can show you. I guess I'll show you here. Let me go ahead and open Google Photos here as well. I guess I wasn't 100% prepared for everything I wanted to show. Honestly, this I'm kind of winging all of this. This wasn't planned out at all, and it's okay, well played. No worries. I'm happy to have a conversation with you guys on here. The Dobsonian for visual and planetary, and smart telescope for deep sky would be a perfect combination, I think. Yes, you are absolutely right. Of course, I wish my Dubsonian planetary, my Dubsonian telescope was a motorized mount, but it is not, meaning I have to do my planetary photography manually, which takes a lot longer, and the imaging isn't as perfect since it's not, following the planet. So that means I don't get as many frames as I would like to, meaning less detail on my planetary images. So let me show you my image here of the Cone Nebula. See right here. Here is my image of the Heart Nebula that I actually took with Seestar S50. Uh, this was about 30 hours of exposure time processed in the Serial program. I can show you the final image. Let me find it. It's here somewhere. Trying to figure out which one was my preferred. I believe this one was the preferred image that I had. This was again taken with Seestar S50, about 30 hours of exposure time. Have I had any success with imaging comets using the Seestar? Now that is something I have not tried and I have yet to try. Uh, if you have any idea, what's the brightest comet out right now that I could show you? Because of course I have my Seestar S50 connected live. I can show you guys anything you want as long as you just tell me in the comments. I can show you anything. But here's my image of the Heart Nebula. Here's actually an image of the Needle Galaxy that I recently took. It's right there. And then we have as well, let me find my image of Jupiter that I actually took with the ZWO ASI 662MC. Let me show you that. Obviously, it's going to take a while to load because it's very high detailed. This was taken with the 678MC. Of course, an awesome planetary camera to use with a Dobsonian telescope, something I definitely recommend for anybody who's interested in getting a planetary camera, perhaps those who already have a telescope, like a non what's it called? A not digital telescope. Those who have a real telescope. That's a great choice for those who are interested in getting into planetary astrophotography. So let me go back here and close out of that and show you guys Seestar one more time. Honestly, it's already starting to get a lot of great detail in it, which I'm very happy about. Let's see. Window. There we go. You follow the best of the night recommendation. Let me show you what we have for the best of the night. Maybe we do have a comment available. Let's see. Sky Atlas objects. So night's best. Let's see if we have any comments here available for us to check out. Scrolling through here. I don't believe we have any comments at the moment that I could image. Perhaps if I go to the comment section here, which they also have in the deep sky uh, category. Let's see, everything is currently, oops, currently kind of hard to see. Please excuse the cat in the background. Everything is currently invisible except for this one, which, see the magnitude. I'm not even sure if I'll even be able to see it. I'm not sure what part of the sky it's in right now. It might be blocked by a tree, but we'll see. See what happens. So let's allow it to go to the object. I'm actually looking forward to the comet that's supposed to pass by in October of next year, I believe it is. It's supposed to reach a magnitude of 2. So that magnitude of 2 means that we'll be able to see it even without our smart telescope, without binoculars. We'll just be able to look up in the sky and point out that comet. That's something I'm very excited about. It's kind of like Halley's Comet, that thing that comes once every 30 years, I believe it was. So let me just wait for this thing to go away. There we go. All right, so this is where the comet's supposed to be. It's supposed to be centered right here in the image. I'm not sure if it's actually going to work, but let's go ahead and press the shooting button. You said, I am using phone for now with my Dobsonian. Have some average pics of Jupiter, Saturn, and Venus. Not that great, though. Well, if you want to buy yourself a planetary camera, they're only about like $250, which I know is $250 is $250. So those who have it, it's not everyone's gonna have $250 is what I'm trying to say. If you're doing lunar with the Dobsonian later, why not shoot some with the Seestar for comparison? That I can do. That's actually a really good idea. Honestly, I do have to wait for. Sorry about the background noise. I do have to wait for the moon to rise. Let me show you where it is at the moment. I guess I really messed up in regards to leveling my Seestar, but the moon is somewhere. I'm so sorry about all the background noise. The moon is here, so it's not going to be too long until it comes above the horizon, but it will be a while. But does anybody have any questions regarding the Seestar S50 that I could answer real quick? Once again, just any questions, I will be happy to answer it. So please don't hold back. This live stream does not have a limit in regards to time. I wasn't really. Like I said, this isn't planned out. It's not scripted or anything. Winfield Dave. Sorry I'm late to the party. How are you imaging 30 hours with Seestar? Are you using serial to stack these? Just finished fish head for 100 minutes. Winfield Dave. What I did was every single night I would start my Seestar, the shooting process at the same time. Just every night, same time, 10 p.m. Starting over and over and over and over until eventually I had about 30 hours of imaging time. After that, I was able to stack all of those sub exposures in serial and combine each night until I finally had my 30-hour finished image. Of course, I had to make sure I avoided as much field rotation as possible. But I didn't have to crop a lot out of my image, and it ended up coming out very, very nicely. CMB Concrete Fire, hello. It's good to see you. You said, I'm back. What have you been imaging so far? Now, this is supposed to be I44P, the comment. Let me see if it's there. Let me just make him be quiet for a minute. Let me look that up on this Stellarium app on my phone here. Let's see, I444P. Let's see. And see if I'm actually looking at the right spot here. So I44P, I believe, is invisible. It is too dim for me to see. It is currently at magnitude 12.21, so it's almost impossible to see. Scott, do you think the new firmware for the Dwarf will be right up there with Seestar's 50? Uh, what do you mean new firmware? And when you say new firmware, are you talking about the new features, or in what regards are you talking about here? Can you advise when to use inbuilt light pollution filter? Light pollution filter only used when you're photographing hydrogen alpha rich nebulas. If you're trying to photograph a reflection nebula, do not use the light pollution filter. If you're trying to photograph galaxies, do not use the light pollution filter. If you're shooting a galaxy, it will automatically use the IR UV ray cut filter. Um, and what that's going to do is it's gonna not take away most of the light, which is what the built-in light pollution filter does. The light built-in light pollution filter is a dual band filter, only made for hydrogen alpha and oxygen rich nebula. So let me show you a little example of that here. Let me zoom out and see, find one for me to show you here. Give me one moment. So here we have the California Nebula. This is one, as an example. It is a hydrogen alpha rich nebula, so I definitely recommend that you use the light pollution filter on this one, because if you don't, the amount of light pollution you have, or perhaps lunar light, is going to mess up your imaging. So the light pollution filter would definitely be used on a nebula like this. Now, RoboCop, you said that the new features. It definitely surpasses the Seestar 50 in regards to the planetary, because, as I mentioned before, the Dwarf 2 is getting a planetary function. I'm not sure if Seestar ever is, because ZWO has mentioned that the Seestar S50 does not have the proper focal length for planetary photography. Of course, the Dwarf 2 doesn't have the proper focal length for planetary photography either, but they really are trying to take a shot at it, and they definitely did a good job with it, as we saw in their previous live stream. I really wish, hopefully, everybody here was able to view that. And if you weren't, I definitely recommend that you go watch their live stream. They displayed a lot of different details and features regarding their new update, which I'm extremely excited about. The new update is definitely going to be a game changer, uh, because number one, those who don't have a lot of open sky, one of the calibration things that we are going to have now is you only require I'm pretty sure it was about 15 degrees of the sky in order to do proper calibration. In regards to previously, you needed, I'm pretty sure it was 30 degrees. So it basically cut down half of the amount of space that you need to do proper calibration, which is so much better for those who don't have a lot of open sky, including myself, because I'm surrounded by trees and light pollution is horrible everywhere. Also, the calibration is so much faster with Dwarf 2 now. Of course, with Seestar, Seestar, the calibration is extremely quick. You just level your device and you're good to go. Of course, with Dwarf 2, you don't even have to level it, and you can even polar align it to getting rid of any field rotation that there is. However, with Seestar, I did notice somebody opened it up, and Seestar actually has plastic gears able to withstand the payload to be put in equatorial mode. Um, as a result of that, I just now lost my image again. Let me go back here. I apologize. Connecting again. And while I connect, let me talk to you guys again. Without plays, I just realized for all my astrophotography images, I've been using light pollution filters. Let's see. Sorry, one second. Let me add Seestar back in here real quick. Present, your screen, window, share. There we go. All right. We've said, I just realized for all my astrophotography images, I've been using light pollution filters for my processing for galaxy images. What kind of light pollution filter were you using, Vault Plays? Do you have a Seestar S50? Is that what you're referring to in regards to what you were using? What kind of filter were you using? Was it an ultra high contrast, or was it a dual band? Because that's very two different things. And these two different filters can really cause a big difference in regards to your galaxy photography. Is there any chance that the Seestar will be able to get the Shark Nebula? Now, that is one I actually really want to try. I'm looking forward to being able to shoot that one. Also, looking forward to shooting the Witch's Head Nebula. I really want to give it a shot at shooting Dark Nebula with Seestar 50. That's something I have never tried before with any kind of smart telescope, or even my own telescope, as I do not have a auto go-to telescope, which I'm really trying to save up for to be able to afford. Seestar needs a mosaic mode. Any words on what they're working on? Yes, they're working on the mosaic mode. I have no idea when it's going to come out. They're still pumping out features, fixing bugs. But in regards to when mosaic features actually coming out, no, I do not have an answer on when it's going to be released. Uh, let's see. Yes, like I said, Vault Plays. Just let me know um, filter you're using, and I will let you know what you need to know in regards to that. Let's see. So as you can see, here's just 2 minutes of exposure time of the California Nebula with the light pollution filter on. Now let me show you what happens when we have that off. What kind of difference that makes. And you will see the difference between 2 minutes with the light pollution filter on and 2 minutes with the light pollution filter off. And you'll see why it's so important to have that light pollution filter on. Um, awesome. You're welcome, Winfield Dave. I'm glad that the information was able to help you. Winfield Dave, I'm gonna say it again because this is literally what this live stream is all about for me. Um, oh, what's the difference between CLS and UHC filters? Oh, let me see first. Vault Plays, you commented first. I was using a dual pan light pollution filter. Yeah. In regards to galaxy photography, I definitely recommend that you use a just a normal ultra high contrast filter and not a dual band filter because it will cut out most of the light from the galaxy, which is definitely an issue. Of course, if you're trying to photograph the hydrogen data inside of a galaxy, yeah, I suppose you could use a dual band filter, but it'll be ooh, that's an airplane. Let me stop that and restart that again to show you. As I was saying, I definitely recommend that you use a UHC filter on your galaxies and not a dual band because it will cut out most of the light. So let me just restart that. Now you said what are the difference between a CLS and a UHC filter? Let me see here. Uh, a CLS filter blocks the light of the spectral lines of mercury and sodium vapor lamps. Let's see. By letting a percentage of the visible light in H alpha emissions pass, the CLS filter would effectively block out most surrounding light pollution, which can spoil your images. CLS filters are fine for galaxy photography. Obviously, the UHC is pretty much the same thing as a CLS filter. Of course, UHC filter is what the Dwarf 2 filter is called, the one that they made for their own light pollution. So that's the reason I refer to it as that. Basically, CLS and UHC are pretty much the same thing. We'll see Seestar have a polar alignment soon. I don't believe they will. I did tell the DWO that a lot of people are asking for the equatorial mode, the polar alignment mode with Seestar, and they said that they're going to let the people working on it. She was just the person I talked to is basically just the one handling the information. And she told me that she was going to pass it on to the people who are actually developing the Seestar to see if they can actually make it a reality. But I did notice, like I said, someone on Facebook actually took the Seestars 50 apart, which for me was painful to watch because I know a lot of people are still on pre-order for their own Seestar. Um, so it's plastic gears, not metal gears. Of course, Seestar's still gonna last a really long time with plastic gears as long as you don't mistreat it, just like with anything. But I don't think we're ever gonna see an equatorial mode for Seestars 50, but we are thankfully gonna get our mosaic mode, which is definitely gonna help. Basically, we won't even need the polar alignment since we will have a mosaic mode. Is a dual band filter good for taking the Pleiades and Bortle 5 locations? No. I actually did a little test on that earlier, and let me show you an example here. Just checking. So it appears that it's gone. Yeah, my image of the Pleiades didn't actually save. Here's Pleiades without the light pollution filter on. As you can see, see a lot of the wispiness here, but let me just go ahead and show you now the Pleiades with that light pollution filter on. Just give me 1 second. Had a lot of luck with Lightroom processing. I've noticed a diagonal overlay contrast rectangle in some of my longer exposures. Why? A diagonal overlay contrast rectangle. On your longer wait, okay, so was this with your Seestar 50 Winfield Dave? Because if it's with your Seestar 50, then that line that you see, that contrast is a result of the field rotation that you would get in your image as a result of long exposure. All right, so it is currently shooting the Pleiades cluster with the light pollution filter on, and you will see a little bit of a difference in the amount of the galactic dust that we're able to see in our image. So let's allow this to run. As you can see here, only 10 seconds. With about 2 minutes without the actual light pollution filter on, we were able to see a lot of that wispiness that we like to see in our Pleiades cluster. Because honestly, that's the main focus of our of this image. Honestly, I'm looking forward to mosaic mode on this one because I would like to see a whole lot of that cloudiness, that space dust. That's really what gets me interested and excited for this particular nebula. Again, for anyone who is recently joining, please, if you guys have any ideas for future content, please let me know, and I will definitely make sure that I work on that. Will the Seestar allow us to bypass the IR cut filter soon, like Dwarf, or is this a hardware limit? Does it really matter? Uh, That I'm not sure of. I'm pretty sure that the IR filter is built in for just basically forever. I don't think there's any way of turning that off. Even with the moon, I'm pretty sure they have that on too, and the sun as well. Does it really matter? Honestly, no, it doesn't. And honestly cuts out a lot of unnecessary light that perhaps that you would have in your image. So it definitely helps just to have the IR cut filter on. Lightroom does take it out, but I have to smash the blacks harder. Thanks for the info. That was a 100-minute exposure. Yeah. Can I ask what it is that you were imaging, Winfield Dave? Because that honestly, you'll see here in the M45 image, you're not going to see a lot of that field rotation due to the fact that Pleiades cluster is currently east. The deep sky objects that are more faced north or south, you're going to see a whole lot more field rotation. Fish head, yeah, you're going to see a lot of field rotation in regards to that one, especially depending on what time you start. Once it kind of reaches its peak, point in the sky is when you're going to see the most amount of field rotation because that's when it's going to start flipping, basically flipping in the night sky because your C-star 50 is not going to be able to follow that actual rotation. Let's see. So as you can see, we have 1 minute here with the Pleiades cluster, and it's not. You don't really see a lot of the wispiness here. You can see the stars very clearly, but you don't see the wispiness that you were able to see here on this image right here with only 7 minutes of M45. 7:30 to 10 p.m. Can I ask what day it was? And I will give you a little bit more information on that. Winfield Dave, are you able to see the spindle galaxy Messier 102? Should be above your major to top left of Messier 101. Are you talking about the pinwheel galaxy? Vault plays. What should I use? Binning off and binning two by two for taking nebulas or using the dwarf. I recommend you use binning off all the time, just as long as you're planning on getting a whole lot of exposure time with it. If you're able to get the full 999 exposures, definitely use binning off. But if you're going to have the binning 2x2 for taking nebulas, even on galaxies, definitely, if you're going to have less than about 400 exposures, I definitely recommend you use the 2x2 binning. If you plan on using more, that's when you should use binning off. Last night, let me see, 7:30 to 10 p.m. Let me check on my Stellarium app and let you know. Let's see here. Last night, let me just go back. Also, I'm sure you see here it says stack failed. So whenever you get an image, it takes a frame where there's a lot of star trailing, perhaps due to wind or shaking from wherever your C star is located. It will reject the frame and it will say stack failed. I just lost my mirroring again. Slightly irritating. Let me go back here. So Winfield, Dave, you said last night, 27:30. Let's see. So yeah, that's when it was starting the whole rotation phase. Had you started perhaps a month ago when I was taking the image, you wouldn't really have seen that much of the rotation like we will now. Hence why I'm actually trying to avoid that particular nebula for the time being until it goes to the western side of the sky, starts going down again. Let's see here. Just open this up, escape, and add this in. Share. Unrelated matter. What's the story on dropped frames? Sometimes it takes two or three lost frames. Yeah, the dropped frames are whenever you will see perhaps an airplane going through. Sometimes it will reject the frame, sometimes it won't reject the frame, or perhaps your sea star is all shaky, perhaps it's not leveled correctly, starting to see star trails. That's when it's going to start rejecting the frames, which is honestly very good, and it's great to avoid that completely. It's good that it removes that because it messes up your final image. See, it should be above the Pinwheel Galaxy. It looks like the Needle Galaxy. You said it was M102. Let me check that. Check that for you real quick. It should be above Ursa Major. Where is Ursa Major? Should be somewhere in the north side. So Ursa Major is currently below the horizon. So I won't actually be able to see that. Plus, most of the objects to the north right now are kind of blocked by a tree, so I won't be able to view anything from the north hemisphere. I also wanted to view Caldwell 7, but I can't even view that due to the fact that it is below the horizon. Now, Orion is actually starting to rise. I can't really look at that right now, though. Again, trees, and it's only 10 degrees above the horizon. And as I said, I have trees, buildings everywhere, so it's kind of having an issue. Um, said okay. And once again, anyone who's here who wasn't here before, if you have any ideas for future content, please let me know. Yeah. All right. Going back, let's go to Pleiades cluster again. Kind of just leave it alone. Is there any kind of particular deep sky object that anybody would want to see here? Also, I noticed my Wi-Fi slightly going out here. If you see that I'm having issues in regards to video or audio coming through, please let me know in the comments, and I'll try to go somewhere where I can fix that. But let me go ahead and run through the rest of the features of the Seestar 50 app with everyone here. As you can see, we have the Sky Atlas, which is basically like the map in Stellarium. Of course, with Seestar, you can't type in your own coordinates. You kind of just have to look. If there's something not in the directory here, the search directory, then you will kind of just have to search around until you find it. Honestly, it's pretty accurate once you do go to function, and it works perfectly fine. Just close out of here. That was the sky list. We have the community as well. The community, you can see everybody's images that they take. For example, the Helix Nebula, Fish Nebula. Let's see, Madison Chris. So image of the Fish Nebula, Fish Head Nebula as well. Let's see, M82, M46, which is a Planetary Nebula, Jet, the Moon, with Hubble Space Telescope actually passing in front of it. That's actually really cool. One thing that I'm hoping that Seestar eventually does get is actually satellite tracking. Perhaps we could get an AVI video of the International Space Station and take that in for stacking as well. Let's see. Let's go now to the Crescent Nebula. Let's try to find that. Hopefully, it's not too far below the horizon. Let's see. Here's Saturn. Crescent Nebula should be here. There we go. Here's the Crescent Nebula for anybody who's interested in seeing that one. Let's just go ahead and do a go to there. A little sad about that. Are you able to see Ring Nebula or the Dumb Nebula? Yeah, you can definitely very easily see the Ring Nebula and the Dumbbell Nebula. If you want, I can show that to you right now instead of the Crescent Nebula. Hopefully, it's again not too far below the horizon. Let me zoom out here. It might be too below the horizon to see the Ring Nebula, but we can try. Still go to here and allow it to go to the object. Let's do that. All right, it is currently identifying the Ring Nebula. Hopefully, we're actually able to center on it. We might be able to, and we might not be able to. Honestly, a little bit of trial and error here because we do have a lot of trees back that way, which is where the Ring Nebula currently is. In the meantime, we go ahead and press stop. Go to see where it actually is right now, because as I said, there might be a tree in the way. To connect with stargazing. I see stars there. Let me check this star right here. Let's see. I selected Pleiades. I love the Ring Nebula. It's my favorite. In between images, it turned the dew heater off. Should it be doing that? I actually haven't noticed that before. Let me see if mine did that. After it identifies, of course. It is having a bit of a hard time identifying where it is. I do believe there might be a tree there, but I can try to go to the Dumbbell Nebula for you. Yeah, there is a tree in the way. I do see it. Let's see here. No, anti-dew heater is still on, and it is between images, so it shouldn't be doing that. I'm not really sure why yours would be doing that. If it is, perhaps you might want to report that as a bug to the programmers on the Seestar app, which is something that you're actually able to access right here. If you go to Me, Settings, Report Bug, and Log, and that's where you can report your issue. And yeah, that's happened to me before as well. You said I lost one night of fish head 2 nights ago. I did lose an entire night of exposure time because I forgot to turn my Seestar off and eventually went below the horizon to shut off by itself. So that was quite unfortunate. You said near the Ring Nebula, if you look closely and have enough detail, you can. I see 1296, a galaxy that's only 240 million light years away. Let's look for that. Well, it plays. Let's find that. Let's see. You said it was IC 1296. There you go. It is below 20 degrees, so who knows if I'll actually be able to see it. Oh, it's in the Ring Nebula. So, no, I don't think I will be able to see it. I see it here on the app. It's very small, as you said. Yeah, it was right there. I found it. Yeah, it's right there. Of course, it's not letting me zoom in there. But yes, make sure that you save it before the battery actually does die as well, because if not, again, you'll lose all of your data. But let me find the Dumbbell Nebula real quick. All right, hopefully I will be able to see that. You said, okay, mushroomly space. I am planning to take a picture of the Pleiades tonight, and there will be a lot. And there'll be a lot of field rotation if I take 500 subs for the Pleiades and Dwarf, and I have to crop, but I can't pull her. I'm planning to take the picture of the Pleiades tonight. There'll be a lot of field rotation, 500 subs for the Pleiades and Dwarf. Uh, Mushroomly space. I'm pretty sure you're trying to ask if there's going to be a lot of field rotation. If you because I'm assuming you cannot polar align your dwarf too. Um, there shouldn't be too much field rotation. Until you reach about, let's see, what time. Again, if you have the Stellarium app, it's definitely awesome to play around with because it lets you plan out your night. So let's find that, and I'll let you know. Now, if you're in the Eastern time zone, then it would be about two in the morning when you would start seeing most of the field rotation. Otherwise, you should be okay. New feature then autosave at 1% battery. Yeah, that would definitely be a great feature for them to add. I could definitely let them know about that as well. Let's see here. should be stargazing on the Dumbbell Nebula since Vault plays. You said uh you wanted to see that. You can actually already see it right there in the center. Just start shooting, and you'll be able to see it once it's starting to come into view. Again, if anybody has any ideas for future content, like I said, please let me know. I was hoping to do a giveaway for this one, but things didn't really work out the way I wanted it to, so there would definitely be a giveaway in the future. Okay, I'm having a little bit of trailing right here, and thank you, all played. I definitely appreciate your support. Let's go ahead and center here on M27. And as I said again, if anybody has any questions about Dwarf 2 as well, I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have about the new update that they're planning on having as well. I will say their first beta is supposed to come out about mid-November. So those of you who have the Dwarf 2 telescope, you can start looking forward to trying out the new features again mid-November. I know a lot of people have been somewhat frustrated because of the wait for that new app, but just remember, all good things come, with a certain amount of time. Uh, you can't really rush this type of thing. They're trying to get it fixed up properly. You said, what is the mark icon on the right? What the mark icon does is, let me allow it to get the first exposure in. Hopefully, it's not messing up with star trails. All right. What the mark icon does is, after you click on it, it shows you what you're looking at. So that's a great feature. Winfield Dave, you said, will you be doing this again? This is wonderful. Yeah, I'll do this again. It's kind of fun for me. So, but yes, the mark function, Chester draws. Yes, what that does is it just lets you know what you're looking at. For those who don't know, perhaps you're just trying to show stuff to people who are not really into the astrophotography hobby. The mark function lets them know what they're looking at, which is very handy for beginners. But yes, as you can see, the Dumbbell Nebula is right here, very clear and very sharp. And yes, so for the Dumbbell Nebula, yes, you would use the light pollution filter. As you can see, it is green on my screen, and that means it's turned on. The reason for that is because the Dumbbell Nebula is definitely rich in hydrogen alpha data and oxygen data. Also, in regards to processing, I would definitely recommend that you use an HOO palette, not really a SHO palette or SO palette. You would want to use HOO to get the most amount of detail. Of course, if you wanted to do the SHO or HSO, you would get a slightly interesting color pattern, but it would still come out nice. But I would definitely recommend using the HOO since that's the most amount of data that you're going to be seeing in this image. So, if there's any other deep sky objects anyone would like to see with the Seestar S50 as well, please let me know and I will definitely show you all. Uh, see if I missed any comments here. No, I have not missed any comments. All right. So we're just allowing this to run just for a little while. Like I said, if anybody has any questions, just let me know, and probably end the live stream about 1:10, at about an hour and 10 minutes in. So that would be about 11:40 is when I'm gonna end the live stream. So, uh, like I said, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask them now. Definitely try to get them answered for you, and yeah, just go ahead and check out as much stuff as we can with Seestar 50. Of course, definitely if you have questions about Dwarf 2 as well, very happy to answer them, and looking forward to helping you guys out with any issues perhaps that you have with your own smart telescopes at home. And I will say it again, those who have recently joined the live stream, if you do have any suggestions for future content, please let me know in the comments. They said this whole live has been very helpful. Can't wait to get more into astrophotography. Now, Vault plays. What do you have for astrophotography? Do you have Do you have a Seestar S50? Do you have a Dwarf 2? Do you have your own large telescope setup? I'm interested. If you could just let me know on that. Winfield Dave, you said anyone making a lens cap and will work with power down. Uh, a lens cap for what? That's something I do know. A lot of people are 3D printing lens caps right now. They're also 3D printing masks for their stars. They're also 3D printing filter holders for their C Stars 50. Um, yeah, they're 3D printing everything pretty much at this point. So, yeah, a lot of people are. They're selling them on Amazon and on YouTube. Sorry, not on YouTube, on eBay. So if you're trying to get one, then you could go ahead and check that out on eBay. Yes, it was a great stream and really helpful. Thanks. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining. I'm really happy to actually have this audience. It was very nice to be able to talk with everyone. Those who are here and have been somewhat silent. Hopefully, I will hear from you guys just a little bit soon. I see there's 26 people here. Like I said, I'm putting the sticky shipping back on before I put it in the case. Putting the sticky shipping one back on before I put it in the case. What do you mean sticky shipping? Oh, sorry, I'm not really sure I understand that one. Oh, lens case instead. Oh, you're just trying to use a lens cap instead of putting it instead of the case. I believe that's what you're trying to say. Rope comes with protected ship sticker. Oh, I actually wasn't aware of that. If anybody has any deep sky objects that they would like to see as well, please let me know. And there's a cat throwing up at the moment, so if you guys hear any strange noises, that's what that is. Um, they gotta go and get some sleep. We be keeping this video up so I can watch the replay later. Yes, Chester draws. It's gonna be recorded, so it will be saved on the YouTube. So if you do want to come back and play through again, feel free. I'm definitely happy to have you watch it again. I have 130 aperture with a 650 length reflector telescope with an Nexstar AZ mount, and I use a Celestial Rebel T7 DSLR. That's a great setup. Yeah, I would like to see some of your images if you actually have any. Perhaps any data that you have. I would also like to play around with that if you would want to email it to me. My email is actually in the description of the channel. If you want to get in some one-on-one talk time as well, I do talk via email. I also talk via Messenger. If you want to reach out via Messenger, you can just find my Facebook and it'll be on there. 130 aperture with 650 focal length. This should also be perfect for if you want to take planetary photography as well. So if you were to perhaps purchase a planetary camera, perhaps from ZWO, they sell the 662, which has a smaller field of view, which means more detail. They also have the 678, which is a faster sensor speed, but not as much field of view. Just a general question. No, I'm not in college. I was in college, and when I was in college, I was actually doing medical. Right now, I actually work in construction. So, and have a great night, Chester Draws. Thank you very much for joining. But yeah, no, I'm not in college. At least I was, but not anymore. I work in construction. Uh, but yeah, Vault Plays definitely. I would definitely try to get some planetary photography in there with that kind of telescope. And again, if you do want to reach out, you can find my messenger on Facebook, or you can just email me. Again, my email is in the description of the channel. So as you can see, it is currently still shooting M27. We have a crazy amount of detail with just 3 minutes and 50 seconds. Um, let's see if there's any others that we can find here. Tonight's best, you have Triangular Nebula, Andromeda, the Tadpoles, Flaming Star, Spider Nebula, the Butterfly Nebula, and the Fish Head. Let's look at the Spider Nebula. I haven't actually paid that one much attention. Oh, no, it's over near Orion. I can't really see that one right now. There's the Tadpoles as well. I would like to take a look at that one. Let's do gazing. Oh, I had stopped my hands to do go to. Oops. right, stop that one. All right, let's go ahead and find that. Tadpoles. Now, this is another example of a nebula that you would want to use the light pollution filter on because it is very rich in hydrogen alpha data and oxygen data. Now, the dual band filter that's actually built in also filters out the sulfur data, which is very, very dim, but it does add a lot of detail if you do manage to get the sulfur data. Perhaps if you have a certain filter. Thank you for the suggestion. Yes, I will totally reach out to you sometime in the future. Definitely. I'm looking forward to hearing from you about plays. Let me see. It is currently going to the Tadpoles Nebula. It's one I actually haven't ever shot before. I did see it on another image. I believe it was taken by the Astro Backyard channel. I'm sure people have heard of that before. You said I was just looking at an image of M57 I took, and I got the Galaxy I296 that's discussed above. Yeah, there was a friend who originally got me interested in the Seestars 50, TJ Canali. He actually shared with me some of his data. So I was able to process the Ring Nebula. As a result of that, I haven't actually really gotten into shooting that nebula myself, although I honestly probably should have while I had the chance because it is now far below the horizon. If I'm in a light pollution area like Bortle 3, should I still use a light pollution filter for nebulas? Yeah, I'd still use the light pollution for nebulas, definitely. Even if I was in Bortle Class 1, I would use the light pollution filter for nebulas, because it still lets in that very thin band length of that light, allowing you to get finer detail on your nebula. So I would definitely allow that. Paul, yes, awesome. Okay, the image of M27 is mind blowing. Yeah, I would definitely say the amount of detail that Seestars 50 is able to pull out in such a small amount of time is pretty cool. We're currently looking at the tadpoles right now. The tadpoles, you can see it kind of to the left. If you zoom in here, there's one right here in the center, and also one right here in the center now. Of course, it's going to take more than 30 seconds to be able to see a lot of detail in it, but this is what we're able to see so far. It's honestly the thing I like about Seastar so much is that it's very much a click and go, very quick to see what you want to see, and then you can move on to your next target. For those who are somewhat impatient, I'm kind of impatient as well in regards to master photography. Honestly, it was kind of hard to get the full 30 hours, especially since Seastar rejects so many of the frames, causing me to have to take so much more time to actually get the images. It took me 2 weeks to get 30 hours of imaging. In regards to if I had, use a professional astrophotography setup, I probably would have just been done in about 3 days. It would have taken me to get the proper images that I wanted, but with Seestar, it took me about 2 weeks. That's the difference between digital astrophotography and a full blown astrophotography rig. But you have to remember the price difference as well. That's the only thing holding me back from getting another professional astrophotography rig. Um, there's about 2 minutes left for us to do the live stream. Again, if anybody has any questions or any suggestions, please let me know. And I will definitely get to them before the live stream ends. Even if we go just a little bit over time, should be okay. Just checking the comments. I don't believe we have any new contents. Well, the live stream does end in about 1 minute. So please, again, if you do have anything to say, just let me know. All right, you said, sorry, Winfield Dave, I completely missed your chat. I said Mead L6, that's LX 908 inch. I just got the camera mount for my Sony A7V. Never use a camera, will need info on the best settings, any starting settings. The Sony A7V, is that a mirrorless camera that you're talking about? You said, okay, Robocop, why do we have to polar line a telescope when we can just enter the RA and DEC numbers? So what the polar alignment does in regards to a telescope is even if you okay, so each deep sky object has its own coordinates in the sky. What the polar alignment does is basically makes it into equatorial mode, and with the equatorial mode, it basically follows the rotation of the sky. And as a result of it following the rotation of the sky, you don't have to have any field rotation that you would have to crop out later on in post processing. That's the importance of polar alignment. If you were to just enter in the coordinates, then you would get a lot of field rotation like we get with Seestar's 50 because of a smaller field of view. That's the importance of polar alignment. Basically, just save more of your image. That's what that is. Yeah, 62 MP. So, in regards to settings, Mead LX 908 inch. What kind of mount do you have by any chance? For me to give you a little answer on that one. It's alright, well plays. There will be another one. Don't you worry. I do appreciate that you are enjoying it. Okay, it has a go-to computer. Okay, so with that, I definitely recommend that you would probably use as much exposure time as possible. Probably wouldn't pass 30 seconds each exposure. Um, okay, you said it has a go-to computer. But the thing is, I do need to know, is it equatorial or is it like Seestar, just alt azimuth mount telescope, like the I'm pretty sure it's the next star, the celestial next star. Is it like that one? I'm actually located on the East Coast, so it is currently 11:42 at night. So that's why the live stream does have to end pretty soon. Right. So if it is in fact an equatorial, okay, so it's an azimuth mount. For that one, I would probably limit the amount of exposure time you get to about 15 to 30 seconds. Probably keep the exposure. Again, I really have to try to play around with your camera with to be able to give you a proper answer on that one. Honestly, it's kind of like a trial and error type thing. For the Sony, let me see which one it was. The Sony A7V. I'd probably try to just play around with the gain and ISO settings as much as possible until get something that you're happy with. ISO, I would probably try to leave it alone as much as possible. Try to bump it up just a little bit, because you don't want to get too much noise in comparison to the amount of exposure time that you're getting. So that's something you really just have to play around with in regards to your own telescope and your own camera. So I can't really give you a whole lot of detail on that. But definitely make sure that you use a filter with that. They do sell clip-in filters for mirrorless cameras as well, so you could use a dual band filter for that one. Winfield Dave. Um, but everything else. Oh, you said okay. Could I do more videos on Dwarf 2, please? Yes. As soon as the new app comes out, I do plan on releasing a whole lot more videos on these about the Dwarf 2 telescope. N15. Let's see. Try to find that. Where is that? Said it was near Vega. Where is Vega? There's Vega. It is too low in my app, and instead of sorry, it's too low in the sky right now for me to be able to photograph that. Anything that's pretty much below 30 degrees is pretty much invisible to me right now. Said in one of your videos, or if you already have one, are you able to do a step-by-step tutorial on processing images for deep sky objects? Yeah, I do have a lot of these videos. Actually, would you let us know in your next chat? Winfield Dave, I'm sorry, I completely forgot what you're referring to when you said will you let us know in your next chat. I apologize for that. If you could just let me know what you mean. Well, plays, you said in one of your videos, have you already have one if you're able to do a step-by-step tutorial on processing images? Yeah, I've done videos on that before. If you want to go to the channel and check that out, I do have quite a few, even for Seestar as well, and I have the data available as well if you want to play around with it yourself. Um, Woodfield Dave, I'm just gonna reply to your last comment once you let me know what you're talking about, and then I'm gonna have to end the live stream there. Next video chat. We'll let you know. Oh, well, let you. Okay, we'll let you know what on the next live stream, or when I let you know when the next live stream will be. I mean, I can definitely let you guys know when the next live stream will be. Um, I will do a lot of posts. I have done quite a few posts just talking about this one in the community center of the channel. I'm not sure if that's what you're referring to at the moment, but if you do want to know when my next live stream is going to be, I do have right here on the community part of my YouTube. You will find it there. Let me see. Let me just answer this one last thing that you say, and I'm gonna have to shut it off for the night. All right. Well, I definitely appreciate everyone who's here for coming on. Thank you very much for sharing your experiences with me, and hopefully I was able to help you out just a little bit. Uh, Please stay tuned for the next videos that I will be releasing. I do have a lot of stuff I'm trying to come up with. I was hoping to get a few ideas here tonight, but it was great to be able to talk to everyone and get your experiences with Seestar's 50 and even your other telescopes as well. So, again, thank you very much for joining everyone, and I hope you all have a great night.